Thank you, everybody. Welcome to Deloitte Cyber House. Honored and privileged to have Bipul with us. As all of you know, resilience continues to be a massive topic, not only for the CISO's organization, but from a business organization perspective. We recently did a survey, which we released a couple of months ago, when we asked board members and C-suite executives on where does resilience rank in some of the top 1 or 2 risks for any organization. And then we also asked them who is responsible for resilience, and 73% said it's the CISO. And when we asked the CISO the same question, they said only 13% felt it was their responsibility, right? So there's a lot more that needs to happen in raising the importance of resilience and getting our clients, whether they're in commercial or government, to think how cyber resilience is critical to business resilience. It's essential to preserving our way of life. So Bipul's been a pioneer in this space, so very privileged to have him. Would love to hear a little bit about your background, Bipul, in terms of your journey, and then we just have a couple of questions, and we'll take some questions from the audience as well.
Thank you, Adnan. And first of all, huge privilege to be here, and I really appreciate you making time for this early in the morning, first thing, the third day of RSA. My background is I grew up in India, came to America nearly 30 years ago, and I'm an engineer turned venture capitalist turned entrepreneur. I worked at Oracle, building database kernel for many years. I'm a hardcore C programmer, more than 30 patents in distributed computing. And then when I went to Wharton School and I studied finance and became venture capitalist. And I started to invest in technology companies. I was first investor board member of Nutanix. I put together the founding team of Braze. I was also part of the deal team that invested in a Snapchat. So all your kids' Snapchat activities, you can partially blame it on me because it was just 2 guys at Stanford when we actually made the investment. And it really went on to become a very large company. And my involvement with all these startups that were 2-3 people, and then they scaled to billions of revenues and hundreds, if not thousands of employees, really inspired me to leave venture capital to go start Rubrik. And literally 4 of us sat in a room and we incubated the company at Lightspeed 11 years ago. And from that time, 11 years ago, with 4 founders starting this company, till today, we are now over 3,000 people, close to 7,000 customers. We are about 1.1 billion in subscription ARR. We grew 39% year over year. And we might be, or we are possibly the fastest growing public company today in terms of what we are guided the market to and what we have demonstrated in the last quarter. So very excited to be here, and cyber resilience is something that I thought about 6-7 years ago, because I saw that the natural disaster and human errors don't happen every day, but the cyber disasters are happening every day, and if they go unchecked, and if you're not prepared, it can bring your business down, because cyber attacks have gone from a nuisance, some bored teenager in their parents' basement trying to show middle finger to organizations, to actually killing the business and monetizing this opportunity. And just like we get up in the morning, dress well, and come to work, people are doing the same, but to attack you and monetize. And there are many other countries that have this activity. So we started this, we bet the whole company on cyber resilience, and we really created this category and transforming the legacy backup and recovery into a data security platform to deliver cyber resilience. And we just launched a new product line that I'm personally very excited about. It's called Identity Resilience. So how do you deliver resilience for your Active Directory Entra ID? And as Adnan said, one of our difficulties have been, and my personal difficulties have been, that the CTO and CIO organization own backup and recovery, but the board is asking CISO that, are you ready to bounce back upon a cyber attack? And so these 2 organizations were living in silos, and I've been advocating for this to merge. And we are starting to see this happen. So we see this trend, but again, this is still a challenge that these 2 organizations in isolation. This identity resilience is a purely CISO sold product.
Right.
That was my thing, that how do we get something that we can sell to CISOs without infrastructure involvement? So now we have coverage on both sides, and it is one of the fastest growing product that we have, because when the cyber attack happens, first thing that you want to do is to be able to log in. Right. And if you can't log in, it will create chaos. And that's why this thing has taken off.
So Bipul, thank you. I mean, for sharing your background and I think your perspective of where the industry is going. So when you're advising organizations, whether they're commercial or government sector, what are some of the common challenges? Is it a technology problem? Is it a mandate problem? Is it a workforce problem? Your thoughts in terms of how and what should be top of mind when building out a program around resilience?
This was a learning experience for us, Adnan, because what happened was when I started to talk about cyber recovery, and we went to the CIOs and CTOs and said, are you ready for cyber recovery? Lo and behold, 100% of the people said, yes, we are. We have backup and recovery, right. We have people, and we have processes. And by the way, we have immutable backup. So we are ready. And I was thinking that, what am I doing? Like, do we even have a business? Right. This could be a fool's errand that to start like pivoting the whole company in that direction. Then something occurred to us, and then we said, let me ask a deeper question. So the deeper question we asked was, so tell me what is your MTTR and what is your cyber RTO, cyber recovery time objective? And that's when we saw is the deer in the headlight. Some people said 2 weeks, some people said 2 months, some people said, can't tell you. And that's when the transformation started. Right? Because now we had something that we can objectively ask C-suite, which they didn't have an answer for. And then once they started thinking about actual recovery time, then they realized that they neither have technology, nor have expertise, nor have the processes to be able to recover. And that's what has led to Rubrik's growth and acceleration. Because we are not saying that, hey, take this immutable backup and good luck when something happens. But we are saying that your recovery will be 100x faster because we are doing preemptive recovery. Everything that you need to know about your data to be able to deliver fast recovery is pre-calculated before attack happens. So as soon as attack happens, you are ready to recover, and it is only on physics of how long does it take to get the systems up and running. You're not scanning data, you're not trying to figure out clean state, you're not trying to figure out malware, IOC, threat hunting. It's all pre-done for you. And that's what has led to our success.
So maybe just to follow up, so we've been in the cyber business for 30, 40 years, and traditionally the buyer has been back in the old days, the IT security manager, right? The AS400 administrator, the mainframe administrator. It's a lot easy. You went in, you looked at password settings, and you were good to go. And then over time, right, the CISO function evolved, and then the chief risk officer evolved. And I think what we're seeing recently, specifically because business resilience is so dependent on access to cyber, right, that the chief marketing officer now is involved in the customer experience, right? And cyber is a part of that experience, and the chief data officer is involved. When you're talking to your customers about resilience, are you seeing the same behavior that is going away from the CISO's office to other parts of the business where front office, middle office is more involved versus just the back office?
So let me take a step back and let me tell you my perspective on the evolution of this industry. And I'm an entrepreneur, so I'll make some statement that might not sit well, but I feel like cybersecurity has been the most bogus industry of any markets that we have ever seen. Think about this way, we collectively spend $200 billion in cybersecurity, and we have number of attacks only increasing. Think about, we are giving more medicine to this patient, and patient gets sicker and sicker and sicker every year. Would you ever spend money on anything that you're trying to get better and to get worse? Just look at RSA. You have like 1,000, maybe 2,000 companies trying to prevent attacks. And every time you have a new vector of a threat, you have a new tool. An average enterprise have 100 tools, and they are drowning in tools. And 30 years of cybersecurity has been, how do we prevent attacks? You can't prevent the unpreventable. Otherwise, if police can stop all crime, then you don't need judges and jails. If the doctor can prevent all disease, then you don't need hospital and surgery. It has never worked, but we have been obsessed about taller walls and wider moats and plugging every hole to make sure that attack doesn't happen. People have to change. The strategy has to change. This obsession about preventing everything is important. If you have a house, you can't keep your windows and doors open and hope that your crown jewel will be safe. You can't do that. You have to have prevention strategy, but you can't be obsessed about it. You have to think about some attacks will get in. And cyber is not about attack prevention. Cyber is about risk management. And how do you manage risk is ensure that 0.001% of attack that actually gets in that you cannot prevent. How do you ensure that your business is up and running? How do you ensure that your bank, your hospital is able to take patients, bank can dole out money? So it is not the question of cyber manager and CISOs. It's the question of, is this business going to be a business and going to be in business in foreseeable future? And so board and CEOs are now asking this question that the cyber has become a destructive cyber. Are we ready to keep this business up and running? And that's the problem, and that's the question we have to solve for. It's not about, hey, I have a new cloud tool, a new FANG thing that you plug it in and I'll give you visibility. Who cares about visibility? We have too much visibility, we are still blind. So we have to really change. And I personally believe that cyber resiliency is the future of cybersecurity. Think about it this way. Digitization and productivity gain and AI, these are creating faster and faster car in our economy. You need to have better and better brake to manage that risk of a fast car. Cyber is the risk management platform. And collectively, we all will be better served if we think about cyber as a risk. And that's where I believe having the risk conversation, having a conversation of keeping your business ongoing operation, the one thing that we have done with a lot of our customers, we call it minimal viable business. So if you are a hospital, what are the core set of services that has to be up and running all the time so that you can check the box saying that I'm a operational entity irrespective of the attack? And that's the critical piece, and that's the conversation you want to have with your clients and your customers, because then you are a strategic advisor. You are their strategic partner. Otherwise, you are pushing tools, and they have a lot of tools.
No, I couldn't agree with you more, right? So when we talk to, so we have a board program where we talk to boards and educate boards, right? And the number one question is, how do I make sure I'm not attacked? How do I make sure I'm not in the headlines? And the one thing we tell all the boards, right, that there are two types of companies, right? Ones that they know they've been breached, and the others that they don't know, but they've been breached, right? And cyber is just about that. It's about risk management. It's how fast can you come back? And it's interesting. You come to RSA and you spend a lot of time talking to all the emerging tech players, and there's all of these. If there's a small problem, there's a tool for that, right? And what we worry about, and one of the things we've been telling our clients is, because I noticed we haven't talked about Gen AI yet, so something must be amiss because we need to talk about AI. But what we're telling our clients is, if you want to build the enterprise of the future, not for cyber, but if you want to build your enterprise for the future, where you have digital coworkers sitting next to humans, right? When you're interacting a lot more with machines than you have, it could be in your customer function, it could be in your factories, it could be in your mid-office banking activities. You have to get ready for that. And cyber in particular is so stovepiped, it is going to be incredibly hard for our clients, organizations who are pumping millions and billions of dollars into AI, to make sure cyber is ready for that, right? And I think what's going to be even more critical is the resilience around the future enterprise that we're building. So we'd love to get your thoughts in terms of how do you see resilience because I agree with you point out all the stovepipe multiple tools, right? But how do you see resilience evolving in the age of AI, right? What is your best case scenario? What is stuff that keeps you up at night? I mean, that I would love to get your thoughts on that spectrum.
You have painted a great picture, Adnan. This is how the world is going to be. A lot of people are confused about AI. Future of AI is human work completely done by AI, not AI assisting human. AI assisting human is a misnomer. If AI has to really work, then the human work has to be done by AI. So you could have AI co-worker who is independently, autonomously doing the work. And so think about that world where you have you and an AI coworker. And if you look at like what is AI doing is if you look at our world, there are two parts of our world, known world and unknown world. Unknown world is where the things are not known and we are connecting the dot. Known one is all your knowledge. And AI is taking all the world's knowledge, everything that has ever been written or thought about, and it can correlate things and give you that knowledge in a succinct answer. But it can't connect the dot. So humans will be connecting the dot. AI will be bringing you the knowledge. You can ask any topic, any question, and it can give you that information. So in a world where human is doing intuition work and AI is doing the knowledge work, you have to ensure that the AI is secure, because if the knowledge is wrong and hacked, then intuition will be totally farce. So in that world, I do not believe this moat and wall is going to work. My vision of the cyber future is truly inside-out security, is truly autonomous, disconnected, loosely coupled system, but every entity in the loosely coupled system is self-secure. Zero trust goes in that direction, because think about this autonomous AI agent that is your knowledge worker. If it is secure and it can only talk to the fully authenticated, trusted entity, then you have really solved the cybersecurity problem. Then all these autonomous things are independently secure, and then your orchestration of these autonomous agent is going to be secure by definition. So I personally believe that, and I 100% agree with you, this is stovepipe and big moats, and these things are not going to work. We need to think, instead of thinking about outside insecurity, the new world is going to be inside out security. Everything will assume that everything else is compromised.
Right.
And how do I talk to, in a trusted way, to a trusted, authenticated entity? And that's going to be the future of AI. And I personally believe that for AI to succeed, that future of cyber has to happen. Otherwise, cyber could cabas the AI future.
Agreed.